Upon, actually, I'm a new person to the entire scene here. So immediately after my appointment, I decided to meet with the department heads in order to have an overview of what is pending and what the situation is, so I will be able to take corrective measures. So together with my cabinet, I had a meeting with the Secretary General and the department heads. In that meeting, they gave me an overview of the ministry and information regarding some of the challenges that we will have to work on together. It was a pleasure to receive such complete cooperation, for as I stated, the Secretary General and the department heads, they are the experts, and they are the ones who are in government, and they are responsible for the day-to-day work. It is my intention to always take their advice and the council into the consideration when formulating my vision and goals for this ministry. I will be the facilitator and take all possible actions to ensure that the ministry functions successfully. Some of the challenges include securing staff for the various departments, which is a challenge due to the severe budgetary constraints as stated by the Minister of Finance. But filling those vacancies is critical, especially in the case such as within the Civil Aviation Department, where we are unable to fill these vacancies. And once these vacancies are not filled, we cannot improve our present Cat 2 category to Cat 1, and we will be reliant on Curaçao. So that is a situation that I will not want to be in, and I will sit with the Minister of Finance and ask if he can assist me in getting the necessary persons for the Civil Aviation Department as well as the Tourist Department in order for us to do our marketing and market our island, so that we will not be faced with another season where we don't have, the hotels don't have sufficient tourists to fill their rooms, and then we will face with another slow tourist season. Another major challenge is the urgent need to get St. Martin Tourist Authority up and running. The STA has been in the pipeline for many years, but I'm happy to say that progress has been made. But recognizing the absolute importance of tourism to our island's economy, the STA must be given the attention that it needs and deserves, and as such, I will have my focus and attention. At this point in time, the STA has been set up as a foundation, jointly by the airport and the harbor for their expediency's sake. However, it needs to be changed to a government ZBO. This situation will also be addressed during my tenure, and I am seeking the advice and assistance of experts who can assist me in getting this organization set up in a very short period. I also met with the Managing Director and management of the Harbor Group of Companies, and I was given a presentation on the Harbor Group. That was a preliminary meeting. It was an introductory meeting. And a second meeting and more in-depth meeting is planned for next week, at which time we will discuss the financial statements and the financial statement of the companies. With regard to the airport, I hadn't had the opportunity to meet with the supervisory boards of the airport holding and operational companies at the airport as yet, although I have been obtaining information as to exactly what the situation is in regard to the screening process of the managing director.
All the people, wherever I went, and therefore, especially on Seba, I was the great servant. I functioned as advisor to the Executive Council on St. Martin, and as such served as advisor to Commissioner of Education Valerie Gietersen Pantaflet, and also to Commissioner of Education Sarah Westcott Williams. Therefore, I am not a complete stranger to the workings of government, as some people may think. So by postulating myself, I know that what I'm getting into, I know there will be opposition. I know there'll be ridicule. I know there'll be efforts to sabotage me, sabotage the candidates on the St. Martin Christian Party slate, as well as sabotage the party. And I'm also not ignorant of the devices of the enemy, but I also know that if God is for you, who can be against you? Not only for me, but for the team at this time, and later on when we are able to introduce the candidates to you, not in this particular meeting, but in another meeting, I can also safely say that if God is for us, who can be against us? During my 10 years Lieutenant Governor, there was political enmity between two political rivals in the government of Sabah. To try to get political mileage, one of the politicians insisted that I put a particular person off the island who was gay or homosexual. Now, this homosexual was related indirectly to the politician's rival. I said, no problem, but if you could just point out to me which article I should use, then I would gladly oblige. Pressure mounted. I got calls from this particular politician constantly. And one day, the Minister of Justice from Curacao called me. And he says, I heard that you're not carrying out the instruction that you received. I said, which instruction? And he then went on to explain that I was not expelling this particular person from the island. I said to him, Your Excellency, if you would just let me know which article I can use to do so, I would gladly oblige you. Well, that wasn't good enough, and several weeks later I was surprised by a visit by the Minister of Justice and the Prime Minister of the Antilles. They came to my office and told me the same thing. We have heard that you're refusing to expel this person. And I said to the Minister of Justice and the Prime Minister, if you would let me know which article I could use to expel this person, I would gladly oblige. Well, they weren't so happy with that answer, and I was told that I was trying to rule the island with the Bible in my hand and the sword and the law in the other hand. And I was also told that I'm just like Mother Mary in a whorehouse. Well, I shared that with my late wife and with two other ladies, my mom and the pastor's wife. And they went into intercession. And it wasn't a matter of weeks that my wife was listening to the news on PJ82, and she rushed into the bedroom and said to me, they're gone. The Minister of Justice and the Prime Minister are gone. They're no longer Prime Minister and Minister of Justice. The government has fallen. I forgot to say that they also threatened to throw my appointment in the garbage. Well, they went home and I remained to complete my term as Lieutenant Governor. When God is for you, who can be against you?
Santa leave the North Pole and come down to St. Martin. For the lion will have a town. Christmas bingo on Saturday, December the 5th at the festival village. Lion bingo, December the 5th. Overloaded baskets with ham, turkey and snack. Lion bingo, December the 5th. Airline tickets secured and be back. it starts 8 p.m. sharp.
Lions Bingo, December the 5th.
Just $10 a card, don't forget Santa's bar.
Lions Bingo, December the 5th. Lions Bingo, December the 5th. Lions Bingo, December the 5th.
Lion Wally Haverton Christmas Bingo Spectacular is on, folks, on December the 5th at the Festival Village from 8 p.m. sharp. Get your tickets for only $10 from any Lion member or at the Lion's Den in Soccer Garden. Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
That bucket has superpowers. Powers? It makes people suddenly appear. Really? I'm home.
You appeared
It makes people suddenly appear.
at the right time.
Festive feast from KFC. The taste that brings everyone together. So good.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Bob, I see you got a new couch. Now you don't have anything else to worry about. Uh-oh, but don't worry about it. With your Be Sure home insurance, the contents of your home are all covered for free.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah, for free.
You mentioned during the answer of your first question that one of the biggest challenges in the 2016 budget is the amount we owe to SZV and APS. Now I know that you're still relatively new, but what are your ideas on how this can be resolved over the 3 years that we've been given to resolve it?
I think it's premature to divulge that publicly at now. Besides that, it changes. I'm trying everything to get it resolved, and that means various sources and ideas are coming up. And so I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be or if I am going to succeed. What I do know is we've got to roll up our sleeves, tighten our belt, and be very creative to be able to deal with that. And I'm not taking off the table, too, a possible request for an extension of the instruction because of that, and in regards thereto. I'm the new kid in the block, and you just can't build palaces in 1 or 5 days or 1 week or 1 month. I'm trying, I'm hopeful, but I can't promise.
The police union, they've expressed dissatisfaction that a meeting with you was canceled, or postponed rather, yesterday. And earlier, when you were in the Netherlands, they issued a 72-hour ultimatum for authorities to address all of the pressing issues affecting the police force. What is your response? How do you plan to address this whole issue? Because the union, they say their members, they're very frustrated. They're saying that it's been many years and no solution to their concerns. How do you plan to address this, and particularly given an ultimatum that it had been looming?
Well, first of all, it's unfortunate. Some misunderstanding occurred. I do not know exactly where. What I do know is I personally made an appointment with members of the board of the union for a meeting. I was there, but only one person showed up, said they were waiting for the others. And I waited for about 25 minutes. Nobody showed up. And I had to go into another meeting. So I requested that we postpone it until Monday, and then to have the meeting. Again, all of the issues that concerns that matter, I don't have them in my fingers, but I know that there are certain rights that they have that have not been attended to, needs to be attended to, and it all comes back again to budget, money, expenses, waste. Those are the issues. I think that they have a right to receive certain payments and promotions. But as they say in Dutch, you cannot break iron with your hands. And that's where the tension lies, but it has to be dealt with.
Are you therefore saying or suggesting that the police will also have to tighten their belts?
Everybody. There's no exception. Look, if you look around, you see people riding on bikes. You see people riding in Volkswagens. You see people riding in Audis, in SUVs. The people who ride the bikes, why do you think they ride the bikes? Because they have an SUV park in the yard? That's what they could afford. Do you think they don't want to have an Audi or an SUV or a Mercedes-Benz? They too would like to have it, but they can't. You don't think they would want to have safety cameras all around their house to protect them against safety? But they can't afford it. Why do you think it's different in government? It's no different. We have to do what we can afford with what we have. So when you start thinking about how do you balance the two, like every housewife have to do, every bike rider who goes to ride, that's what we have to do. There's some things we can do and some things we can't do because it's not there. We behave as if we have an infinite mountain of resources that all you got to come and we'll give it to you and you can get it and you can demand it. And that's not reality, unfortunately.
So what's your idea of holiday happiness? Watching the kids open presents, cooking in our new kitchen, the look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a loan from Scotiabank, and you could win a trip for two to Miami and other great prizes. Visit your Scotiabank branch today and talk to a representative about getting your loan. Contest ends January 15th. Conditions apply. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Congratulate the people of Suriname and those in Suriname who 40 years ago, on November 25th to be exact, took the correct, the courageous, and the historic path toward independence. They are doing what is natural, not just as seen in the animal kingdom, but also by any oppressed people. Natural to do is to take your own destiny into your own hands. And they are succeeding. Success takes time, and with time, as our keynote speaker has just pointed out, Suriname continues to evolve and make us all proud of her as a country in the Caribbean and the Americas. So congratulations to you, Suriname, and your people.
Thank you.
With regard to the theme for this evening, Independence in the Dutch Caribbean, celebrating 40 years Republic of Suriname, a blueprint for St. Martin. I had to work hard to let that sink in, because there are a couple of things there for me that were a little disturbing. So permit me to offer the following caveat. I do not consider the story of Suriname as a colony in the Dutch Kingdom a story of independence within the so-called Dutch Caribbean, and neither is it St. Martin's story. When I speak of St. Martin, I refer to the entire island nation, as I do not recognize the attempt to divide the St. Martin people. Furthermore, I do not identify with, and I unequivocally denounce any reference to or any notion of Dutch or French St. Martin, or Dutch, or French Caribbean. I say this relative to the concrete material history of St. Martin and out of respect for the Caribbean and the Caribbean people. I believe it's an assault on the sovereignty of the Caribbean and its people to be identified by a prefix as Dutch or French, or any affixation. I am a St. Martiner, a very proud one at that, and I am a Caribbean person, and for good measure, of African descent. My response to your question of whether Suriname's experience could serve as a blueprint for St. Martin is that while some of the experiences of nations that have been colonized are similar, when they set out on their path toward independence, each of them has had to fashion a unique blueprint based generally on their experience of racism, classism, history that is peculiar to them, and a number of other factors. So I believe that there are some experiences that Suriname has had that will be instructional for us here, while others, however, will not. Likewise, there will be experiences that St. Martin will have that will be beneficial to others when we eventually obtain our independence. Because I know that St. Martin's independence will come. This very symposium is part of the discussion that countries on the road to independence have with their people. Our keynote alluded to that as well. Let me point out some of the differences and similarities between Suriname and St. Martin. The level of class division and racist relationships that were present in Suriname, and we heard about that just earlier, at the heyday of the struggle for independence does not exist in St. Martin today. The general landless situation of the majority of the blacks in Suriname does not exist in St. Martin today. Also, the geopolitical environment is very different today. Suriname obtained its independence when the Cold War was at its worst, but close enough to the era during which the so-called winds of change were sweeping through colonial territories all over the region and all over the world. Today, it is almost anachronistic to talk of colonies. Yet, in our Caribbean alone, there are almost 20 dependent territories. And I look forward to the discussion on countries, territories, and colonies. Similarly, the policies pursued by the colonial powers at the time of finding ways to replace crude colonialism with more subtle and even more effective forms of subjugation has changed considerably today, with more direct involvement in the management of territories. The days of benign neglect are over. But we have other issues that we need to attend to, which may be similar, such as the continuation of a colonial language and language of instruction in our schools, which St. Martin and the people of St. Martin are still working on as we speak.